Reed dance at the Enyokeni Palace, Nongoma. Today, let's now cross to our reporters, Bongani Gema, Paulse and Nosipho, Mncube. And I'm going to start with you, Bongani. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you. Just give us a bird's eye view of what's happening, because it certainly is a big day today at the AmaZulu Royal household.
Yes, good morning to you, Simpiwe, and good morning to the SABC viewers. Simpiwe, I'm coming to you from the first entrance of the Enyokeni Royal Palace here in Nongoma. I just step out of shots here so that my colleague can show you the maidens who are coming in and out. They are coming from the river Simpiwe, where they were taking a bath. They are now going to get dressed and prepare for the function that is about to take place. Unlike last evening when we left Simpiwe, where it was a fairly quiet, although some maidens had started to trickle in, but it was fairly quiet. But today it is bustling Simpiwe, as you can see. Well, the occasion of the ceremony is well underway. Remember, there was a little confusion yesterday when there were rumors that the ceremony will be moved to Kwakangela Amankengani Royal Palace, but then Prince Tulani Zulu did confirm, in fact, that the Umkhosi WoMhlanga will be held here today. As you see, the maidens have made their way here. But simply I have with me the Prince Tulani Zulu, who's the spokesperson of the royal household. Mntwana, thank you very much for your time. Yesterday, last night before we left, we saw a little skirmish, Mntwana. Before I get into the details of our interview, I just want you, Mntwana, to tell us what happened, because we were standing outside the gates. Prince Umandla Zulu was doing an interview with my colleague from the SABC, and then we saw other royal family members who came and manhandled him. Can you tell us what happened, and was that matter finally resolved?
I think that has been finally resolved. Let me tell you this, Umkhosi WoMhlanga is not just an ordinary celebration or Umkhosi, but is a prayer. You know, where there is a prayer, there is also dark spirits that enhance and raise their ugly faces. This is one of those things. So when we were busy talking about the Umkhosi WoMhlanga that would be taking place as it is here today, one of the princes from Ngwavuma came to media just to oppose all what we were trying to say. That's why I'm saying sometimes dark spirits, because they can't come, dark spirits also come through people. So he enters a person, and then a person will try to spoil everything. So that was just that, and then he was called to order, because I think he was not supposed to come exactly into the venue where we are and then speak negatively about what we are doing.
Mntwana, as we just take a few steps up, I want you, Mntwana, to speak to us. Why is the focus here on the Enyokeni Royal Palace? Because we know that the source of the conflict currently is that they did not want, King Misuzulu to lead this Umkhosi WoMhlanga at this particular palace. And you're also, you do not also to move to the Kwakangela Royal Palace. Can you tell us why? What's so special about this specific palace?
I want to talk about spirituality, as I have said, because Umkhosi is spiritual. This palace is the place of the Zulu nation. That's where all the kings, the ancient kings, are here. So when the Umkhosi is done here, we have a hope that the owners of the throne, the ancient kings, they listen and they can hear our prayers, because, as we say, we are praying with this. We're not focusing on Umkhosi WoMhlanga, we're not focusing on maidens, we're focusing on all other problems that affect our nation. This is the way we pray. So when you pray, you make sure that you go to a temple. This is our temple. So if you say we must move out from here and go to other place, like even if you go to religious people, they can't just go and pray somewhere and leave their temple. That's the thing.
Now, Mntwana, you've confirmed that the Umkhosi WoMhlanga will continue. We heard you yesterday saying that security has been beefed up. I think you mentioned that there are police officers from even far as Pretoria. Are you satisfied now? Have they also made their way here? Because I did see quite a number of private security guards, but not a huge number of police officers.
You can't see the police. Yes, they should be visible, but I think it's it's according to them, if they watch and make sure the place is secured. Not that you will see them personally. Maybe they are somewhere amongst us. Sometimes you think it's just a person passing, but you'll find it's a police. Because as I tell you, this is one of the biggest ceremonies in South Africa, if not in Africa, in the sense that when you hear that there's a ceremony where there are a number of people, when they talk of number of people, different people, young women, old people, they combine. But here, we talk of just young women, about 30,000 or 40,000 of them. So this has never happened elsewhere in the world. That's why the police, all of them, they're supposed to use all their strategies and make sure everything is safe. As we are safe, there is no unit of the police that is not here. But you can't see, but they are somewhere. If you see those, you can see those that you see, but there are some hidden somewhere to make sure security is tight, yes.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Well, that is Prince Thulani Zulu just painting a picture for us of the preparations that are underway, speaking about the security measures and also saying that the matter that we saw on the news yesterday was finally resolved. Back to you, Jade.
Well, thank you, Bongani, and we are coming from Enyokeni Palace, Royal Palace, where all festivities and all things go. I can tell you it's a hive of activities. As we were coming to the palace, we saw maidens coming out from bathing, and this is very synonymous and a part of the tradition, as you would know that through the week they go for purity testing, and then once they are certified, they do get a certificate. The elderly ladies in the community, they do mark them with clay on their foreheads with a dot, basically saying that you are pure and you can take part of the ceremony. It is then when they make the trek all the way to Nongoma, and this is where they find themselves today participating in this beautiful event. But I'm just going to ask the man behind the lens to also show you it's not only about the reed dance, it's also about color, it's about tradition, it's about Zulu attire, Zulu culture and the customs. And I think a lot of eyes are going to be on SABC News as we give you blow-by-blow coverage of what is to be expected at this reed dance this year. Well, where I'm coming from now, Enyokeni Royal Palace, this is where the first maiden will be bringing that reed to King Misuzulu KaZwelithini, and she will present that reed. Thereafter, thousands of maidens will follow her, and they will then put their reeds down at the palace. This is where all of them will be collected, and this is just to signify the day, to end off the day, and to solidify the reed dance for the year. But we're going to be bringing you coverage all the way from where I'm situated to where Bongani is situated, and also bring in cultural experts to tell us about the significance, the relevance of the reed dance in the 21st century. It happened in 1984, the first reed dance when Shaka Zulu was still running on the soil. We'll bring you all the latest. Let's go to Nosipho now and find out what's happening on her side.
A very good morning to you, Simpiwe. I'm actually standing at the midpoint that meets Jade and Bongani, where the maidens will be making their way from the riverbeds and up on this road to Enyokeni Royal Palace, where they will be meeting His Majesty King Misuzulu to hand over or to lay their reeds down. And I can confirm to you, Simpiwe, that this morning we have seen such beautiful scenes of those maidens, some of them making their way down still to the river, and others making their way back to prepare for that ceremony that will be taking place. As we understand, it will begin around 10 o'clock this morning. So where I am standing is one of the entrances that we understand the maidens will be using to enter this amphitheater or these grounds where the formal program will be taking place. As you can see, further down the road is where some of the maidens are entering, and we have seen quite a heavy police its presence on our way into the Enyokeni Royal Palace. So who I'll be hoping to speak to this morning is Simelani, who is the acting premier, as we understand that the premier of KZN, Nomusa Mncube, is out of the country. We also hope to be speaking to the Zululand District Mayor, Councillor Thulasizwe Buthelezi, as well as Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who will be in attendance at today's ceremony. We will be hoping to speak to the provincial government with regards to especially that notice that was going around yesterday that was indicating that there has been a change of venue. Find out to them if they have gotten to the bottom of what really was happening, how that statement was issued with their letterhead, and whether they were able to establish what was going on with that statement, and also reach out to the wide masses regarding the fact that this event is really taking place at Enyokeni Royal Palace this morning. But we will also be reaching out and speaking to some of the vendors we've seen as we have made our way here. Of course, some of the maidens in attendance and their parents. We've seen some of their parents and relatives as well accompanying them this morning. But Simpiwe, that is it for now. We'll be back with you with more. Back to you in studio.
All right, Nosipho, thank you so much for joining us. Those were reporters Bongani Gema and Nosipho Mncube, and as well as J.D. Paulse at the Enyokeni Royal Palace. And as you can see, beautiful visuals coming out of Enyokeni Royal Palace as the maidens prepare to go deliver the reed at the Enyokeni Royal Palace in Nongoma before King Misuzulu. So we'll definitely be crossing back to our reporters a little later on to give us, a blow-by-blow coverage of this very, very historic event. Historic in the sense that it is the first for King Misuzulu after he assumed the throne.